Hey YouTube, this is Sean from Griffin RC Planes. We're on a roll today. Hey, I got a request, a comment, and thank you. And I need these guys. I need request after request after another. Keep them coming. I need them, okay? This person says, hey, I might be getting the E-flite 90mm jet, and it won't have a receiver, and I might use one of my receivers that's in a plane that I don't fly anymore. You know, what's the easiest way about programming a receiver for the 90mm Viper? They also mentioned angles, you know, bank angle, limited bank angles for the safe and stuff like that. Okay, that's going to be another part 2 video. But okay, so let's take a receiver from one plane and put it into our new 90mm Viper, and this is how we do it. Well, let's paint the canvas here for you. So we got a new plane. We got the 90mm E-flite Viper jet, which is a pretty bad to the bone jet. And we got the plug and play version, the PNP. You know, that version comes with everything but a receiver. That way you can put your own receiver in it and do whatever you want. You use whatever brand radio system. But you're a Spektrum guy and you need a receiver for your 90mm Viper jet. Well, you can either go buy an $80 to $160, $180 receiver, or you know, you're looking around the house, your garage, your hobby room, whatever, and you see a couple of these old planes that you first started out with that, you know, they're in bad shape. They've got more hot glue than EPO foam on them, and they're just sitting there collecting dust. So hey, let's use one of those receivers. You know, those are still good for the 90mm Viper. Well, in this particular case, you cannot use a 636 receiver. You can, but there's no pre-written files or a program for that receiver. The 90mm Viper never ever came with a 636. So you've always got to keep those things in mind if you're wanting to do something like that, you know, using a pre-written file. If you buy a plane that doesn't come with a receiver and it once was a bind and fly model, pay attention to, you know, when it came out. Did it have a 636, or was it released with the newer SMARE receivers where it came with a 630 or 631 or 637, which those are the smart ones. Well, the first thing you got to do is go to SpektrumRC.com, and you've got to have an account and you have to log in. That's just a part of life now. We're Spektrum people. So you log in. Well, you're scratching your head and you're thinking you really want to use a 636 receiver. Well, I just said they never came with a 636. Well, you can check real quick if you want. So you go here to set up an updates, and you'd go to firmware updates, and you would find your 636 receiver that you have registered with Spektrum, okay? And then you would find your 636 and you'd go to download updates. And in the update area of this receiver, you can see here at the top where the cursor is that Airware software updates. That's the software update for the receiver itself. The next is model presets. So what model presets are available for the 636 that you have registered? Well, here's a list of them. And if you want to double, triple check yourself to, you know it didn't come with the 636, but who knows? It might be in here. Now, and that's possible. Spektrum might decide to write some files for the 636. But as of right now, look, here's the 70mm. But I've been all through these guys, and there's no 636 files. So now you've got to pick one of your planes you don't fly that have a SMARE receiver in it, okay? So let's go over here to Air, down to Receivers, and let's find the receiver that you have that you're going to use. A lot of these receivers will lead you to the same direction, but we'll do it this way. you've got an AR631. So we'll click on that one. And we're going to pull up that receiver. That's what you have. And here in manuals and support, we clicked on it. Now you see Spektrum model setups. Now this is the newer way that Spektrum is allowing us to download these pre-written files. We showed you the older way with the 636, how we just scrolled through, they were in a long list. Now they share their files through the Google Drive. Google Drive is memory associated with your Google account, and you can store pictures and whatever. You can store anything just like as if you stored it on your computer, but Google has given you some personal storage right there, just like OneDrive. Those are some other videos if you want, but here you can see find AR636 files, which is separate. We just did that. And here is find smart receiver preset files. The newer receivers are smart. They've got the smart logo. So this leads us to dang, did I pay my internet bill? It leads us to the Google Drive. This is Spektrum's Google account that they have shared with us. And here's a list of planes that you can choose from. There's other menus in here to do all kinds of stuff and download other things for your chargers and all kinds of stuff. But this took us directly to what is available for the 631. And not too far down this list, you'll see the Viper right here. Now, I'm not going to download it and save it because I've already done it. But you would right click, download. I save it on my desktop, which is easy to grab for this deal. So minimize it. Now we're going to go to the Spektrum Programmer. All right, we're going to open that. Our 630, the same as the 631, just no antenna. Antennas for the telemetry. And that takes a minute. And now we have the Spektrum Programmer opened. We're going to go over to Models. And you can see I've got the Carbon Cub and another one in here. Well, we need to put the 90mm Viper. So we're going to click Import. And that takes me to where I've saved some files here. And you can see the third one down is the Viper 90mm. And now the Viper is in my list. And we're going to select it. And then I'm going to delete some other ones out of here real quick. Now, the only plane I have in my current model list right now is the 90mm Viper. I've got the AR631 plugged up to the USB programmer cable. We're going to click Power Cable. And here's the warning about the no battery pack, only the computer plugged into it. Power the cable. Now it says the model's settings on the device don't match those on the computer, which in the computer is the 90mm Viper, and in this receiver I have right now I really don't know what's on there. So we want to use the computer settings. So now the computer just put in the Viper files. And there it kind of goofed up a little bit, but select 90mm Viper, and it's watched that. Now we have the Viper in there. Also checking for updates real quick. There's no new software. This is 100% the Viper. So we're going to click Power Cable and get out of this entire system and go to the workbench. Alright guys, here is our 90mm Viper. After you program the receiver, you need to install the receiver in the plane jet, just like the instruction manual tells you. If you bought it new, it would come with an instruction manual to tell you the channel assignment, the ports that you plug your servos into, and where and how to install the receiver. I've added the Viper to my NX8, which makes it really easy doing a model setup in a transmitter. Instead of entering everything you need, setting up a model from scratch. You can pick from a list, just like we picked from a list to program that receiver. All the planes are in this transmitter. We'll do videos on that later. So we got the transmitter on, we got the receiver that we programmed. I've got a Y harness in channel 2 going to each aileron. Channel 3 and 4 going back to the rudder and the elevator. Nothing's in 5. I've got a Y harness coming out of 6, going to these 2 servos to represent the flaps. We'll go ahead and turn on the 90mm Viper. And as you can see, it only did 1 set of dances. Right now in this configuration, this is as if you bought a new bind and fly model that has never been bound to. That's how it stands right now. So we'll give it a ailerons, elevator, and the rudder and flaps. They've definitely got a delay on the flaps. They've slowed them down to a little bit. I didn't do any settings for the flaps. It was already in the transmitter, so they must have a few second delay. Well, that's how you put a plane into an existing receiver that you already have. In case you bought a plane that's a PNP version, a plug and play that comes with everything but a receiver, and you already happen to have a receiver, smart receiver in this case, that's how you put the 90mm Viper program into the receiver. The question also was, angle adjustments and gains and stuff like that. I'm going to do another video on how you can change these things. But that's all in this episode. Hey guys, keep the comments and the suggestions, the questions coming. I need that, and obviously you guys need it also. So it's working for both of us. Hey, if any of these videos have helped anybody out or given you a little bit of entertainment, please click subscribe and like and share it with your friends. And until next time, you'll see me here.